You know what? It's so cold out here and it's global warming and nobody realizes what's going on. The government just won't put any money into this. They do raise our taxes, but it never goes to investigating the cause of global warming and what the remedy is. Things are getting worse and worse every year. I don't know what we're going to do here. It's just a problem and nobody seems to care. I know what's going on. It's getting hotter and hotter and hotter every year, which is making it colder and colder here. But people don't realize that. People think because it's winter it has to be cold, but that's not true. It doesn't have to be this cold, but it's global warming. It's global warming on top of everything else. We really need to start investigating what is causing this global warming, and we don't know what's causing the global warming because everybody's worried about this and they're worried about that. They're not talking about global warming. I really don't know what's going on. Talking about global warming and ice caps or nothing. I really don't know what's going on about this. Just don't realize that's what's causing all the cold. The government won't put any money into this global warming mess. And they don't know what to do. It's a problem here. How you doing? In case you're wondering, I'm not crazy. I'm just a friendly guy that likes to talk to people, all right?
Okay.
Oh. You know, man, which train you waiting for? I'm waiting for the northbound.
Whichever one comes here first.
All right. Sure is cold, boy. You know what causes that cold? Man, global warming causes that cold. The polar ice caps are melting. The Earth is getting so much hotter, and that's why it's cold. People don't understand that. They think because it's cold it has to snow, but because the Earth is hot, it's getting colder every day. People just don't understand that. You know what I mean? Man. You know, I'm really not crazy. I got 2 doctors that'll attest to that. You know what else people don't know? People don't know that aliens have been trying to take over this planet for years. You know, I'm not talking Mexicans. I'm talking space aliens. I got an uncle. He used to talk to aliens. He used to talk to this one alien, Zontar, from Venus. And he made contact with him with a machine he had in the house, and he used to talk to him all the time. And he was trying to take over the Earth. But people just don't know that. I'll tell you the whole story of how it happened. It all started one day at home when my uncle was talking to Zontar.
Yes? Yes, it's true. I am your only friend. Nobody else even believes you exist. But they will. They will.
It's late, Keith. Are you coming to bed?
Zontar's on his way, darling. He drew the satellite to Venus, boarded, and returned it to orbit. All within an hour. He's inside that circling laboratory right now, waiting to come down to us. To save us. The greatest day in history is about to dawn.
Please come to bed, Keith. You need some sleep, and you need it badly. You've got to snap out of this fantasy you've built up.
It's not fantasy. It's what I've been predicting for years. And it's good instead of evil. My one uncertainty was whether it would be for good or for evil. And it's for good. I'm going to stay by the set tonight. I need to be here when Zontar lands. There's still a great deal I don't know about him.
Whatever you say, Keith. Good night.
Night.
My uncle was wrong, though. Zontar was evil. He just couldn't see it.
Yes. Yes, I hear you. Martha?
What is it, Keith?
Come in here. He's here, darling. Zontar landed the satellite in a cave. They couldn't even track him.
Keith!
The world has been headed downhill for a long time. Wars, larger bombs, but now it will be over. All our dreams for perfection will now be realized. Zontar will see to that. I've got to phone Kurt. He must know.
No! Please don't tell anyone what it is that you're imagining. I'm going into town.
Pretty soon, people had learned that Zontar had landed. He cut off all the power everywhere. No phones, no electric, no nothing. There was panic in the streets. It was horrible. Uncle's friend Kurt started seeing Zontar's minions flying all over the countryside. They looked like flying lobsters everywhere.
Kurt, what's that?
I don't know, but I don't like it.
Ugly thing. It's obscene looking. I've never seen anything like it.
Neither have I.
Let's go. We'll never get there standing here.
Keith, our car broke down. Could you run me over to Phil's garage?
Well, I'm afraid that wouldn't do you any good. But I will ask you inside for a drink.
You look all in.
A drink I could use.
I'll get some ice.
What's your pleasure?
Oh, scotch and soda's all right.
Oh, my feet. Just put some ice in a bucket for me.
What time did your car stop running?
A little after 3.
You know, my watch and the car clock stopped at the same time.
Keith, how did you know the car stopped running? Could have been a broken axle or anything.
Could have. It just stopped running like every car did today. Like everything mechanical did.
Keith, what's going on? What's all the mystery? Do you know something you're not telling us?
Relax. You have time. Time for explanations. Perhaps even time for understanding.
At the same time, there was a 4-star general who was out for a walk just outside the local army base. Lobster killed the general. Meanwhile, my uncle confided in his friend telling him all about Zontar.
Keith, I'm sorry. I can't believe anything of what you're saying.
That doesn't surprise me, nor does it dismay me. No one ever believed me.
All right, Keith. All right. Let's say just for the moment that what you're saying is true. That a creature called Zontar has come from Venus and has shut down the world's power and is putting the world's population under its dominance. Now, if that is true, Why aren't you fighting it?
Because this superior intelligence, this Zontar, is working with me. After all, I was his first contact, and I contacted him. I believe he's here to save us from ourselves, not to dominate us, as you have so quickly concluded.
Keith, you talk as if this thing were a personal friend of yours.
Oh, yes. They're real chums.
The days when people made fun of me are over.
He's here to help us save ourselves? From what?
From ourselves, Kurt. From ourselves.
Oh. I didn't know we needed rescuing.
Kurt, I'm serious. Remember your theory on free magnetic gravitation?
Mm-hmm.
What happened to it? It was a great theory.
Well, you know, Keith, Washington red tape, I couldn't get an appropriation.
Kurt, that was sheer stupidity. An example of how arrogance and ignorance restrain man's progress. I should know. I've been victimized by it myself.
And Zontar is going to end all this.
Yes, quickly, easily. You'll hardly realize it's been done.
How's he going to do it? How's Zontar going to pull this off?
I can't tell you just yet, Kurt. It's premature for his plan. Premature. But you'll understand everything pretty soon.
I don't think so, Keith. I don't think so. Well, I'd have to take a long, cold look at anything that would change the world so completely. Zontar or whatever. Look, Keith, would you run me over to the lab?
It's useless going there. The lab is completely inoperative.
All right, then will you run us home?
Sure. I'll be with you in a minute. I knew Kurt wouldn't panic. Nothing quite like a logical, orderly, scientific mind.
He didn't panic because he didn't believe you. Logic makes him think you're insane.
Get off my back, Martha. I've overlooked and forgiven your lack of faith for years. But now that events have vindicated me, it's time you stood up to be counted.
I'll stand up with you, Keith. Not because of events, but because I love you.
Later, Kurt decided to try to stop Zontar himself.
Anne!
Kurt, what is it? Where are you going?
Darling, I've got to go up to the installation.
Oh, Kurt, no.
Anne, look, I've got to find out what's going on. Now, look, you stay inside. And remember to keep all the windows and doors locked.
Oh, Kurt, I'm afraid something terrible will happen. Please don't go. Kurt?
Meanwhile, the flying lobsters started attacking everyone in town. The lobsters were killing so many people. Finally, my uncle confronted Kurt about it.
All right, Keith. I believe you now. And I also believe you're an accessory to murder.
That's a nice way to greet an old friend. Sit down, Kurt. You're upset. Zontar is a member of a race that was born too soon. They developed a culture on Venus that Earth won't catch up to in perhaps 1,000,000 years. And then disaster struck. You see, Kurt, they're host beings. They grow devices that enable them to control other creatures. Somehow the creatures they controlled on Venus became sterile and died out. Without control creatures, Zontar's dominant race slowly withered away.
And you mean to tell me that these creatures are going to control the human race so it will die out too?
Zontar has an intellect that dwarfs humans. Makes us look like so many ants by comparison.
And you think we need him?
We always have.
Listen. In the last 12 hours, men have been murdered for failing to obey this new master. Makes you think a little, doesn't it?
Yes, it makes me look back into history for a comparison.
Comparison? Why, you can't compare this to anything that's ever happened.
Yes, I can. Every great change on Earth has been the result of torment, chaos, and death. Plagues have brought about wondrous cures. Wars have brought about fast planes, atomic power, radiological medicine. Our own discoveries.
No, Keith. You're talking about changes that were brought about by man himself. But Zontar isn't human, so your argument just doesn't hold water. Incidentally, revolutions, plagues, and wars have also resulted in a number of regressions. What about the Dark Ages? No, you're not very convincing.
You'll be convinced, Kurt. He wants you on his side.
And you actually think that I condone this reign of terror? That I'll swear allegiance to this Zontar? Well, I won't. I'll fight him, and I'll fight you, too. You're a traitor, Keith. The most diabolical traitor of all time.
So Kurt left. He went home to find out that Zontar had a little surprise waiting for him.
This has got to be Keith.
Right. I have the only working phone left.
All right, what do you want?
Come on over. I want to talk to you. It's terribly important.
All right. I'll come over.
Good. I'll see you later. Yes, he's coming over here later. Yes, if it must be done, but is it imperative? Can't we wait a while?
Zontar had decided that Kurt's got to die. And this got my uncle thinking.
Listen, Keith. You're the only one that can help. You know all about Zontar. He's been playing you for a sucker.
He understood and praised my work.
He was using your human emotions, your desires to help your race, your dreams of freedom. He was using these to help him destroy the world.
No.
Look, he has no feelings. He has to have someone do that for him. And that someone is you.
I've got to have time to think.
You do that.
Supposing you're right.
I know I'm right. Zontar reasons, concludes, and destroys. Have I reached you?
I don't know, Kurt. For the first time, I'm confused.
So while my uncle was away, my aunt decided she'd had enough. She was going to set out to kill Zontar herself.
Listen. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but if you can, you listen and listen good. I hate your living guts for what you've done to my husband and my world. I know you for the coward you really are. And I'm going to kill you. Did you hear that? I'm going to kill you.
She knew that Zontar was hiding in a cave on the outskirts of town, and she went there to confront him.
Zontar, you're slimy, horrible. Go on, try to control me. Use your intellect on me. You think you're going to destroy the world. I'll see you in hell first.
Oh, Lord. Martha.
Now are you going to help me destroy him?
Yes, Kurt. Now, the minute the installation had been possessed by the injector pods, you take care of them. I'm going to the cave.
Here, take my gun.
Guns won't hurt him, Kurt. But I've got something that will. Something that not even you've seen yet.
What's that?
How do you think I communicated with Venus in the first place, Kurt? By a laser principle that not even the government and all its millions have perfected yet. This beam gun contains a plutonium ruby crystal. It's capable of fantastic bursts of power. It'll be enough to blast them apart. It's the only thing on Earth that will. I made it possible for you to come here. I made you welcome to Earth. And you're trying to destroy it, not save it.
And that's the way it happened. My uncle killed Zontar and saved the Earth.
You know what? You are crazy. You need some serious help.
So I'm crazy, huh? Oh no, they're here again. They're here. Oh my God, here they are again. Oh.